Boys and girls. I had a good day today. Today is the 28th, marching through March Day 28. We're almost there, and I'm, like I said last night. I have to apologize to you guys for last night, and I really don't know who made that video last night. I have no idea. I was making my video. I was recording it. I looked down. There was 3 minutes into the video. The next thing I knew, it was 11 minutes into the video. I have no idea what happened in between there. I couldn't tell you. I don't know. But obviously, God wanted something to be put out there, so I put it out there. One thing I do remember is don't back down. I'm not going to back down. I don't care. If there's one thing that offends me, it's offended people. You don't like what I got to say, don't read it. You don't like it, tough apples. I'm not backing down. I gotta find my verse for today. My blessing from my Bible reading. Because I didn't write it down. I guess I'll start with my memory verse. 2 Timothy 4, verse 7. 2 Timothy 4:7, I have fought a good fight, I have finished my course, I have kept the faith. And I don't know why, but for some reason I see an old Southern preacher. When I say that, I don't know why. I think maybe if any of you have seen the movie Gettysburg, I think maybe General Lee says that towards the end. But can't you just see an old Civil War general or an old Southern Baptist type preacher just stand up and say, I have fought a good fight, I have finished the course, I have kept the faith. Therefore, henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give unto me. Can you just say it? Can't you see it? I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird like that. Anyway, Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 9. Know therefore that the Lord thy God, he is God, the faithful God, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him, and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations. How great it is to know that we have a God that is faithful, and he is merciful, and he is loving, and he will watch over us and keep us safe. And not just us only, but the promise is to watch over 1,000 generations to them that love him and keep his commandments. I think that's a pretty good deal. All we have to do is love God and keep his commandments. Follow what he has for us written down in this book. And he will watch over us and be merciful to us and keep us safe and love us if we simply keep his commandments for 1,000 generations. I mean, it says right there, know therefore that the Lord thy God, he is God, the faithful God, which keepeth covenant and mercy with them that love him and keep his commandments to 1,000 generations. He says right in that verse that he will not break promise. He is a keeper of a covenant. And that covenant of this verse is stay faithful to him, love him, and keep his commandments, and he will keep us safe for 1,000 generations. He will watch over us. I think that's just an awesome verse. Just an awesome promise, awesome verse. One thing that I keep forgetting to mention to you guys is I've been listening to when I work out Chuck Black's Kingdom series, and I am in book 4, 5. I think I'm in book 5. Anyway, this book basically, the series is basically about the Bible written in medieval times. And, there's the different characters that are in the book. They all relate to a different story in the Bible. Starting from the very beginning of the series, starts with creation, and well, I take that back. It kind of starts out with with Noah. It starts with the story of Noah, and then it does go back and recall the account of what would be creation. And it just goes through every story of the Bible, from Old Testament to New Testament, all the way to the end, through the rapture, through the tribulation, the whole 9 yards, second advent, everything. And right now I'm in the part of the book where what would be the character of Saul being converted to Paul, and the way God used Paul, great ways that he did. And right now, the story that's in the book, I don't believe, I'm trying to recall, but this story is not in the Bible. This is just part of the story that Chuck Black made up. But in the story of Paul, what would be Paul, the character's name is Gavin, and it was his job to destroy all of those that would be the followers of the prince, which would be the Christians, which would be Paul or Saul slaying the Christians. And in the process of doing that, a young lady comes running to him and asks for his protection, because the bad guys, the Shadow Warriors, are after her, and they've killed her family. And because Gavin, he doesn't care for anybody but the people of his city, he doesn't care for these outdwellers that they're called, that he just hands her over and says, I don't care about you, I don't really need you, I don't have any jurisdiction to save you, I have no duty to you, so he just gives her over. And then years later, after his conversion from Gavin to Gabino, after he meets with the prince, and he becomes a follower of the prince himself, he becomes a knight of the prince, and he becomes the great missionary that he is, of going to the outdwelling cities that he didn't care about before, to tell them about the prince, and also see them become knights. He comes across the slave girl, and the slave girl, he doesn't realize at the time, but it is this young lady that had run to him and asked for mercy and help some years before. And through the course of events, he figures that out and makes things right with her. And basically he says to her, I've done a lot of things in my past that I'm not proud of, I'm not too happy with, and some things that I can't change. And unfortunately that's one of the things, but I can try to make it right. And eventually this girl does become a knight of the prince as well. But it was just a huge thing, a huge blessing to me to think that sometimes you need to look at things from a different angle and a different light, because you're so used to hearing it over and over and over again, that maybe you'll get a special blessing out of it. Well, I've heard the stories of Paul over and over again. I've heard, in the Bible, I've read it, I've seen it, whatever. But reading it from a different angle and a different light kind of made it a little special, and just realizing that God can take a horrible person, a horrible situation, and turn it around and use it for His glory. And you look at the life of Paul, at the life of Saul, his sole mission was to destroy the Christians, to kill them all, and rid the nation of all of these, in his eyes, the problem, the scum that they had. And God turned that around and used Paul in such a way that he became one of the greatest examples of the Bible to follow. He became one of the, in Christian circles, he's debated as being one of the greatest Christians to ever live. So it was just a blessing to see that God can turn, He can turn one thing around in a bad situation and turn it into a good situation. And something I just thought of, all of the verses that we have been memorizing this month have been written by Paul. The book of Ephesians, with a spiritual armor, the book of 2 Timothy, 1 and 2 Timothy were letters by Paul to a young preacher boy. So, I just realized that. That is just so cool. It's Paul that said, I have fought a good fight. I have finished my course. I have kept the faith. And he realized more than anyone else of the spiritual battle and warfare that is going on a daily basis. That's really cool. I just thought of that. Anyway, I'm just going to go sit in my new revelation. No, I gotta go get myself ready for work. But I'll let you guys go. And I just got a chance to watch Aaron's video from yesterday, and he's absolutely right. I wish he would go further when he goes on his rants. But God does set up power, and He takes down power, and we have the authorities that we have on a national level, on a state level, on a local level, and even in our own jobs, on our own lives, in our own churches. It doesn't matter. Good authority, bad authority, it's there because God put it there, and there's a reason why. And like He said, we may deserve it. We may have a bad authority because we deserve it. And I think he's right. We do have the president that we have because as a country we have deserved it. But that doesn't mean we can't beg for mercy. We can't, pray to God and beg for mercy and have him bring down that power and bring up another one. So he's absolutely right. Next time, Aaron, go farther with your rant. Anyway, I'll let you guys go. And I will talk to you later. Goodbye.